Well, returning to today's breaking news of the death of singer Liam Payne at age 31. Reports he fell from a hotel balcony in Argentina.
The singer rose to fame aged just 16 after auditioning for X Factor in the UK, which ultimately saw him become a member of one of the world's biggest boy bands, One Direction. Entertainment reporter Dean McCarthy joins us now with more. Dean, morning to you. Such devastating news. We're already seeing an accumulation of fans outside the hotel in Buenos Aires.
Yes.
What more do we know?
Here's what we know so far is our beloved One Directioner fell off his hotel balcony this morning, and there were reports that he was acting aggressive within the lobby and reports that he was actually taken to his room. We do know that he's had a very turbulent couple of weeks. His ex-girlfriend, Maya Henry, you probably have seen, actually released a cease and desist through lawyers, alleging that he had been essentially harassing her and her family over the last few weeks. We've seen a lot of celebrities come out in support, but we do know that in 2021, Liam admitted to having, obviously, drug and alcohol addictions. Here you've seen Paris Hilton has obviously tweeted right now as well. I would expect we won't probably hear from the other One Direction boys today. I imagine they're probably still processing the news. We've seen Zed tweet as well, Charlie Puth. I think lots of celebrities will be coming out. Here's Zed, RIP Liam, I can't believe this is real. Absolutely heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking for such a young father as well. And of course, Charlie Puth posting a photo on social media as well. So we do know that in 2023, Liam did attend rehab for 100 days successfully. So we don't know the cause of death, whether it was intentional or not intentional this morning, but we do know that he's passed away, which is just gutting.
And we do know he was in Argentina seeing fellow One Direction member Niall Horan's concert, his show.
Yes.
So that speaks to the great friendship
Yep.
that he still had with his band members. Niall Horan, we don't know if he was staying at the same hotel or not, but he was obviously still close to the boys.
Yeah, devastating. I interviewed Liam once when they were all together in New York City, and I'll never forget, all 6 city blocks were shut down. They were a phenomenon, and the fans, as you can see right now, lining up outside their hotel in Buenos Aires, it's devastating. Their legacy's huge.
And then the other thing that's sort of so many elements of this to still fall into place, Dean, but we've seen it was only about 30, 40 minutes, we think, before his death that he was actually still active posting on social media. I think it was a photo saying that he was happy to be having some time away.
I know. I mean, we saw him looking very happy at Niall's concert the other day on Snapchat. So that's why there's so many questions around how intentional or not intentional it was, but it's heartbreaking.
That story, of course, still developing. Yeah. It is around about 8 o'clock in the evening in Buenos Aires, so still plenty of time for more reports to be filing in. Let's move on to this morning's other top story, and that is the press conference that's been held by the family members of the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
More than 30 years they've been in jail. What do we know about what happened this morning?
It was huge. I mean, everyone in LA was focused on that this morning. Over 20 of the Menendez brothers' family members attended this press conference, including the sister of the mum. The sister of the father had a statement read out as well, the nieces and nephews. What we know is that the family have really come together, and what they're asking for is that this case is, essentially revisited, and that their sentence might actually be resentenced as well. It was interesting because 2 new pieces of evidence have now been really coming in the spotlight, which is, of course, a letter that Eric allegedly wrote his cousin many months before the deaths as well, and also that another allegation from a different person, not within the family, of abuse from Jose Menendez has come out as well. So 2 really key pieces of evidence that were not mentioned in the Netflix series and documentaries. It's quite new, and that's really kind of driving this.
Isn't it? The brothers have already been in jail for 34 years.
34 years.
Isn't it interesting, Dean? I mean, what's at the core of this case is it was never in doubt that they did this.
Right.
But it's what precipitated it, and this grievous abuse that they allegedly suffered at the hands of their father. Yeah. And whether or not that was just dismissed and maybe a sign of the times back in 1989.
Well, 100%, exactly. They say these days that if it was now, it would be a really, really different outcome. And if they were girls, it would have potentially been a different outcome as well. So just like you said, there was no question whether they did it. It was around what kind of drove this.
Yeah. People, of course, invested in this case because of these dual TV shows on Netflix that have come out.
Yeah.
One was a dramatised version, the other a documentary.
Yes.
So you're usually based in Hollywood, so of course this has been buzzing around town as well.
It has.
And the world.
Oh, absolutely. And just like you said, like those two, particularly LA, those two productions really drove a new spotlight onto this. I mean, the story was huge back in the 90s, of course, but then it came out in 2020. The courtroom, it was called Court TV, released clips of this court case on TikTok in 2020, and that is what really kind of re-inspired a lot of interest into the case again. And so then, of course, Ryan Murphy led this very popular television show and called Monsters. Yeah, it's great actually. You can't look away. And so, you know, I think maybe if the show wasn't as successful or popular, it might not have this type of spotlight, but people loved it, so everyone's talking about it.
Throw in a sprinkling of Kim Kardashian on top, and you've got all the ingredients.
You certainly do, and you're right. It shows the power of not just media but social media to reignite this. Otherwise, they'd be sitting there languishing and getting no noise at all. Some influential Hollywood names as well, throwing their support behind Eric and Lyle.
Absolutely. So Rosie O'Donnell randomly has been a very close friend and advocate of the two boys from the beginning, but it was Kim Kardashian who has really thrown herself into this case. She released an essay on her social media, as you can see here. Now, you know, like her or not, take her seriously or not, she has an audience of over 400 million people. So, you know, when she released a statement, it puts a spotlight.
Okay. Really terrific to see you, Dean.
Good to see you
see you in the flesh.
Thank you very much for having me. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Dean.